Staying on the toes the whole way. Ranges of motion. Instead, choose light enough weights and exercises that allow you to go into these deep knee bend positions with minimal that don't. At the gym today, planning on doing landmine complexes or landmine and kettlebell complexes. Uh, Probably going to target mostly legs with the landmine, but there are a lot of different exercise variations with the landmine, so I might get tempted to do other body parts as well, or make up movements that involve both the legs and some upper body component. But anyway, to start off, I'm doing landmine toe squats, going for 5 reps on each shoulder. So, getting the landmine onto my shoulder and then squat. Staying on the toes the whole way through. Maximizing the stretch on the quads. Switching shoulders after 5. So, after 5 each side of that, doing a kettlebell complex with my with the 35-pound kettlebell. So, going to do a clean and press, then snatch. I'm going to do that 5 times on each side. Switching sides. So yeah, between both those movements, there's a lot going on, and it gets pretty taxing by the end of it. I'm doing 5 sets of this, not going any heavier on the landmine or anything. In fact, I'll probably go lighter. I can do more weight on the landmine squat, but today, like, my goal isn't necessarily to tax the strength within one exercise. I want to do a bunch of different variations of landmine squats or squats on the landmine or leg exercises on the landmine, and I don't want to overly exhaust myself on the first movement. But yeah, on to the next thing. So for the second set of movements, starting with staggered landmine squats. So initially, I had both legs together, but the difference is now one leg is going to be back, and then one leg's going to be in front, but not like super wide where it's a lunge. It's still pretty close together. And I'm going to stay on my toes the whole way through. Going for 8 on each side. Switching sides. Doing staggered squats helps target the body in a unilateral way, which makes me more aware of the imbalances or any way I want to, like, when I do these squats, I notice that my right leg's just slightly better at it. So things like that. By doing these different kinds of squat variations, I'm able to even out as much as possible things that are not equal between the left and the right side. Then with a 25-pound kettlebell, I'm going to do a little flow. So swing squat while switching hands to a figure 8 snatch, into a lunge, and kneeling windmill or half kneeling windmill, and repeat it on the other side. So swing squat while switching hands, figure 8 snatch, into overhead lunge, to half kneeling windmill, and repeat for 3 times on each side. The half kneeling windmill is another such movement where I'm able to become extremely aware of some imbalances with regards to my shoulder. And I think doing more of these kinds of movements over time will help me have a more symmetrical body, both from a movement perspective and also from a look perspective. In any case, this is what I'm doing. 4 sets, then on to the next thing. For what might be the final movement on the landmine, I'm going to do landmine hack squats. So I've done this before, but like really early on, probably somewhere between episode 50 and 200, somewhere there. I used to do it quite a bit more often, somewhere there. I get that that's a large range, but whatever. Anyway, so this method of squat is you get the landmine to your shoulder and you're facing away from it. You step forward such that the upper back is kind of in line with the plate, and then pretty much lean back and sit down at the same time. Going for 6 on each side. With all of the exercises that I've been doing today, one thing that's in common is that there's a full deep knee bend in all the exercises. And like, it's definitely hard to I don't know, do that with all this weight if you don't have the knee mobility for it. And to build the knee mobility for it, I think the best way to do it is by walking backwards on a manual treadmill, or by doing the sled in reverse quite a bit. In any case, I did that for years before I was comfortable with bending my knee as deep as I am right now. So it might not be the best starting point, but definitely if don't be afraid of these deep ranges of motion. Instead, choose light enough weights and exercises that allow you to go into these deep knee bend positions with minimal, that don't hurt at all, and slowly get your body conditioned to being in that deep knee bend position. And slowly over time, these kind of exercises become possible. And then once you're able to do these kinds of exercises, when like you're able to get so much better of a deep stretch in your quads, which I think is uh, better than having limited range of motion. And Tom Platz, who had some of the best legs of all time, he would do a lot of exercises in which he would stay on his toes or get full deep knee bend. Anyway, with the 25-pound kettlebell, I'm going to do halos, alternating directions. Going for 10 on each side. So yeah, doing this for now. This will be probably it for the landmine and kettlebell stuff. Might move into something like abs or mobility next. I ended up going to the sauna right after the previous were exercises, mostly because I was getting sweaty and the gym felt kind of cold, and I instead of doing mobility with cold clothes on, I instead decided to warm up, take a shower, or do the sauna, take a shower, and then do mobility after. So starting off with scapular retractions. I don't know if it's going to be clearly visible, but there are muscles in the back over here. And I'm essentially training on retracting that. So I have a resistance band on the pull-up bar, and then letting my scapula get stretched and then retract. Going for 10 on each side.
No, I just started. Well, I've been myself since high school. I only cook just meat.
Switching sides.
I look forward to the process. So I hit my journey and I should be something like that. I use everything. I use everything for over 4 or 5 years. Only thing that I get is 5. Because you can just
So doing this helps train the muscles that essentially keep your chest open. And so from an aesthetic standpoint, it helps you look like you have a wider chest. But from a postural perspective, it just helps you have better posture. In any case, doing this for now. On to the next thing. Ending off with some ATG Split Squats. The reason I'm doing this, or I picked this thing, is the hip flexors always seem to be tight, and there's always room for more hip flexor stretching, at least for me. So, I'm so tired. But doing 5 reps of these on each side. I let my knee touch the floor. Ideally, that shouldn't happen. You want to maintain constant tension on the hip flexor and feel that stretch build up without having the knee touch the floor. Switching sides. So earlier when I was doing squats, I was talking about staying on the toes the entire way through. Another thing that does is it gets my calves to work. So like my calves are pretty tired right now, mostly from just doing all those movements on my toes. So yeah, I'm doing a couple sets of this. I'm going to get my hip flexor stretched and then head home. But yeah, that's all for today. See you all in the next one.